Everyone in the ballroom saw it, but no one expected what came next. Under the glow of golden chandeliers, a billionaire heiress tilted her glass and slowly poured red wine down the front of a black CEO's gown. The room froze, cameras rose. The heiress smirked, certain she had reminded the wrong woman of her place. But she didn't know the truth. The deal they were celebrating, the $5 billion deal her family desperately needed, rested entirely in the hands of the woman she tried to humiliate. And in the next few seconds, everything would break. Ava Monroe had walked into the Mercer family gala prepared to finalize the biggest partnership of her career. Her clean energy company was the rising star of the tech world, and the Mercers, old money billionaires losing relevance, needed her far more than she needed them. Still, Ava arrived with grace. She was used to being underestimated, used to whispers that followed her success as if it were a trick rather than earned brilliance. Tonight was supposed to be business, not a battlefield. The ballroom sparkled, filled with polished smiles and carefully layered arrogance. But under the glitter, Ava could feel tension forming around her like a quiet storm. Some guests admired her, others judged her, a few envied her, and one, Lillian Mercer, the heiress with a reputation for entitlement, watched Ava with a bitterness that grew each time someone praised her leadership. By the time the cameras began flashing, Ava felt the shift. Something ugly was coming. She just didn't know how close it already was. Ava became the center of attention the moment she stepped onto the marble platform where the Mercer family planned to announce the $5 billion deal. Investors circled her, eager to align themselves with her rising influence. The Mercers pretended to welcome her, but their eyes betrayed unease. Ava wasn't the type of CEO they expected to lead them into the future. While the patriarch discussed final contract points with her, Lillian stood nearby gripping her wine glass like a weapon. She watched her brother lean in toward Ava, fascinated by her intellect. She watched guests congratulate Ava with admiration. Every smile directed at Ava felt like an insult to Lillian. And jealousy, when fed long enough, becomes cruelty. As Ava turned toward a group of journalists, Lillian stepped forward with a slow, calculated grace. Her wine swirled, deep red, almost black under the lights. People noticed the movement. Conversations softened. A subtle hush stretched across the ballroom. Ava felt a presence beside her. But before she could react, cold liquid hit her chest, spreading down her gown in a violent stain. The sound wasn't a gasp. It was a collective exhale of disbelief. Cameras clicked. Someone suppressed a laugh. Lillian's smirk widened, pleased with the spectacle she had created. Ava stood frozen, not with fear, but with clarity. The humiliation wasn't about wine. It was about power. And Lillian believed she had just proven who owned it. But she hadn't. She had just destroyed her family's future. Ava didn't raise her voice. She didn't flinch. She let the cold wine settle against her skin and lifted her chin, meeting the stares around her with a calm that unnerved even her supporters. The room expected her to break. Instead, she made the room break. She turned toward the Mercer patriarch, whose face had drained of color. Everyone saw it. The awareness, the fear, the knowledge of what his daughter had just cost them. Ava didn't need a microphone. Her silence spoke loud enough. She stepped away from the stage, from the cameras, from the humiliation intended to shrink her. And in that short walk across the ballroom, she made her decision. The contract her team spent 6 months preparing. The partnership the Mercers needed to survive. The $5 billion lifeline that would reshape the global energy market. It all disappeared. With a single message to her board, she withdrew everything. Every signature, every clause, every deal point. When she exited the building, the Mercer empire, built on arrogance, began to collapse before the night even ended. By morning, every news outlet carried the story, not just of the wine, not just of the humiliation, but of the consequences. Investors fled the Mercer Group. Stock plummeted. Competitors circled like vultures. The family's attempt to frame the incident as a misunderstanding failed instantly. Footage told the truth. So did the public. Ava, meanwhile, became a symbol of something far larger than the moment itself. She wasn't celebrated for revenge. She was respected for refusing to accept racism disguised as entitlement. Her company surged in value. New partners reached out. Communities praised her strength. But Ava didn't focus on the downfall of the Mercers. She focused on the millions who saw themselves in her moment, people who swallowed humiliation quietly because they lacked the power to respond. Her story became a reminder. Dignity has a cost, but silence has a greater one. And the world was left with a single question. One that echoed louder than the fall of a billionaire family. How many more stories like hers are still waiting to be seen?